A drip irrigation system is a series of pipes that connect to your water source and run along your plants that can have holes or drippers that slowly release the water. The slow release of the water penetrates deep into the roots. Watering this way saves water because you can put the water exactly where you need it and you don't get evaporation or runoff. Having a drip system also allows you to control when your plants are getting water, and you have the power to automate your watering. For me, automating my water is essential because it saves so much time, and my plants are never getting neglected even when I go out of town or forget to water. At the start of the year, I can set my watering days and times, and then I occasionally will adjust it according to the weather, but mostly I can check that off and forget about it, which is so nice for me. Drip fit systems are fairly inexpensive and they are very customizable. If you have a basic handle on how they fit together, you can easily design and build your own for your space. The first thing to do is choose a main pipe size. Most drip systems for home gardeners will come in a ½ inch or 3/4 inch pipe. It doesn't really matter what you choose, but whatever you choose, be sure to stick to it and make sure you are getting connector parts that match the pipe size you are using. So, first thing you'll get is a coil of poly tubing in your chosen size. They usually come in coils of 100 to 500 feet. This will be what you connect to your hose or sprinkler system and is the main pipe that will take the water where it needs to go. Next, you'll need to draw out your system on paper and identify the connector pieces that you'll need. There are elbows, T's, and end pieces. There's also a 1/4 inch tubing that can pop into the main tubing that you can use to run down rows or into pots. There are also all kinds of customizable connectors that can pop into your tubing for specific needs. So if you had a little area that needed overhead water, you could connect in a sprayer or other types of pieces as well. Decide if you're going to use 1/4 inch tubing and decide where you'll put it. Be aware that you can use the larger size down the roads as well. It just depends on what you design and what you want. Once you have the main structure of your piping laid out on paper, you can identify where you need holes or drippers to actually water your plants. You can buy piping that has pre-punched holes every 12 inches or so, or you can punch holes and add adjustable drippers. The drippers, as you spin them, they'll let out more water or less water. To add the drippers, use a punch and then just pop the dripper on. If you're doing a lot of holes, I highly recommend that you ditch the manual punch and buy a little inexpensive punch gun, or just buy piping that is pre-punched. A little tip is that if the weather is really hot and the piping has been in the sun, punching holes can be really hard. So do your punching on a day that is cool, or keep the pipe out of the sun on the day you're going to punch your holes. To connect your drip system to a water source, you can either buy a splitter for your hose connection and connect it to your house there, like in this picture, or two, you can connect it to an automatic sprinkling system. If you are connecting to your house through the hose connection, you'll just need to get a splitter so you can still use your hose as well. And you'll need to get a connector piece designed to screw onto the house. You can buy a kit with everything in it if you have a smaller space, or you could even buy the kit and then buy extra piping to go with it. There are really a lot of product options. If you are connecting to your house, you can also buy a timer that will automatically turn on and off, and you can set your watering times and days. So keep that in mind as well. Also be aware that pressure is going to be a factor with your system. Every house, depending on a variety of factors, might have different pressure needs. If you have pretty low pressure on your house, then you're going to need to keep your irrigation small or connect it to a sprinkling system which has higher pressure. Or you may have too high of pressure and can blow out your system or pop your connectors or drippers off. If that's the case, you'll just need a piece that screws on that is a pressure reducer. You also may need to screw on a filter at the water source so that nothing gets in through your water and clogs your irrigation system. And these are all pieces that you'll easily be able to find. In order to connect your drip irrigation to your sprinklers, you will need to buy a PVC connection that looks like a T. You can dig down and unscrew one of your sprinkler heads, and then you'll screw this on. The end of the T shape will need to have a coil like what a hose can screw onto. You'll then be able to screw the beginning of your irrigation system to that and then screw on your sprinkler head like normal. Again, be aware of pressure. The smaller your drip system, the more susceptible it will be to pressure blowing it out. So play around with pressure reducers if that appears to be a problem. A note about the sprinkler connection T-piece. Those can be a little tricky to find. I would recommend that you find a specialty sprinkler supply store and tell them exactly what you're trying to do. Those sprinkler people are usually very knowledgeable and they'll be able to show you what you need. The differing pipe sizes are what can trip you up. Your sprinkling system might use a 1-inch pipe and then you're trying to connect it to a 1/2-inch pipe. So they have adapters for this problem, and I've run into that before, but just troubleshoot it. There's always a solution, and just ask around for help. So hopefully this makes sense and will enable you to make a custom drip system for your situation. Don't overthink it. It's not as hard as it might seem at first. Go to a hardware store and look over all the parts, or buy a kit that comes with everything. And then you'll start to see how the pieces fit together, and you'll be able to draw out your own system and connect it to your water source in a way that makes sense to you.